Hello and welcome to the Gems of Rock podcast with me, DB, and my co-host, DJ.
Hello, everyone.
We talk all things rock music. Yeah. So today I wanted to start by plugging a event that's going on to support one of our local bars that we've already mentioned in the podcast. The Waterloo, which is quite close down my neck of the woods.
In Blackpool, yep.
Yeah. They're doing a lorry pull. It's like a little Arctic that they've had made for them, and it's up in Bolton, and they've got a few teams of it that are taking it in turns to pull it from Bolton down to Blackpool. The reason that we're plugging that this week is it's a Lemmy lorry. So it's got a little Lemmy from Motorhead in the front, and I think it's in reference to the Airborne video.
Well, they have Lemmy's bar as well, don't they?
They do have
the
Lemmy
Waterloo.
bar, yeah. So the Waterloo, big Motorhead promoters.
Cracking pub. Cracking pub here in Blackpool.
Oh, yeah, the Waterloo itself is amazing. And they've been sort of hanging on through the event.
We don't mention the event.
We don't mention the event. But yeah, so they're doing it to sort of raise money for the pub itself to keep it going. Because as far as live music goes in Blackpool, that's the place that you go. Like I say, we were there seeing XSLF when before everything went south. But yeah, especially their punk bands that they push. I know they've got the Buzzcocks lined up. They've got Charlie from the UK sub supporting them. They'll have UK subs playing later in the year at their punk event. They're really good for local music. And up-and-coming bands as well. They'll try and push and they'll try and get through there. So yeah, we'll plug their GoFundMe page that they've got going on for the event that they're doing to raise money. And then you can read all about the little event there as well.
And it's just a cracking pub. Plenty of seats.
But yeah, whether you're supporting the cause or not, go down, have a drink there, go see a live band there. If anything, if we're going to support anything, if we're going to push anything,
a worthwhile name drop.
Yeah, go listen to some fucking rock music
with booze.
With booze, yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's the plug. I'll link all their description in the pod notes and stuff like that. You'll be able to find it all there. So bring that up because this week we want to talk about Lemmy and Motorhead.
Oh, they're just one of those, aren't they? Like, you talk iconic looks, iconic sounds, iconic voices, and just being the quintessential frontman of a band. Christ alive.
I mean, it's, like, never will be another like Lemmy. It's one of those, you can listen to a record from someone, and you can listen to a good 30 seconds of it, and you go, oh, yeah, it's quite good. Oh, is this such and such kind of thing? You go, oh, yeah. You put a Motorhead Lemmy.
It's Motorhead, so done.
It's definitely Lemmy. That's definitely Lemmy. Amazing. Very good music. But again, I was mentioning to you earlier about it was around his 70th birthday when he passed away a couple of years ago. And it's like, he had such a life. You don't realise where he was and where he was when he started. Like, he saw the Beatles in the Cavern Club in Liverpool before they released their first album. It's like, he's quoted of saying, like, I remember before rock and roll. I mean, that's a statement.
To welcome in a new age of music.
To see,
and become part of it.
To see all of it. To see the Beatles and the rise of the Beatles and the Stones, and again to see the punk stuff, and then again we mentioned in our Nickelback episode that Nickelback were very good at following ebbs and flows within the genre and the trend, and being able to keep themselves relevant was a hell of an achievement for them. Motorhead have gone like that for years and years and years without changing a fucking thing.
Nope, this is our thing. We like this. This is us.
And again, that sings itself, doesn't it? It's they've not had to change their style, and they've kept that raw passion and metal, and not following what people want or what they think will sell and stuff like that.
It's what they like.
Exactly. We're going to play what we want to play.
Well, what he wants to play, because there's been a bit of a revolving door of a band.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it? I think Lemmy himself is the only member of Motorhead that's been there from the beginning and was there at the end. Yeah, they had a few different.
And like normally, I love my stats. I love my statistics, and I love quoting like albums and years and singles. But we try and keep these episodes to 25 minutes.
You could have run through and name every Motorhead album.
I can't. Like normally, I know a few albums anyway of artists here and there. Because truth be told, I think my introduction to Motorhead, my dad's back in, I think it was. Could have been mid-2000s, maybe late 2000s, bought a best-of Motorhead album.
Sure.
And that's really been my Motorhead education. But they need bloody best-of. I think they need like 3 best-ofs because I think I've scrolled up 3 times on Spotify starting in 77 and I'm still in the 80s. Like, I cannot get into the 2000s. They've just released such a variety, such a backlog. So since there is such a backlog, if you had to, say, if you haven't heard this Motorhead song, crack on, and we like to try and drop recommendations. What recommendations would you drop on people?
I love Overkill. As a drummer, I love Overkill. I think Overkill is a cracking song. Again, it's one of them, kicks you in the teeth as soon as it starts. It's growling guitars, it's Lemmy, iconic vocals to it. It's a kick of a metal song. So yeah, Overkill would go probably my favourite track and my recommendation. If all you know is Ace of Spades.
Double whammy, Overkill is like you got like a recommendation and your favourite. I didn't even ask that.
I know, yeah. I think I'd probably say Overkill is my favourite. Yeah, and recommendation definitely. Yeah.
If we're going more popular songs of theirs that's still their song, I'd probably recommend Bomber.
Sure.
I love Bomber.
Yeah.
Just again high energy. Just he's coming at you. It's probably again not the same level of drums as Overkill, but definitely more than maybe. There's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot of pace.
you can definitely hear it, can't you? You can definitely hear the kick to it.
But if there's one thing I'd probably love people to try out, and if you like Motorhead, I'm a big sucker for a cover. Yeah. I love different artists trying out different people's songs because when you find a great cover, there's nothing like it, you know. And equally, sometimes it's quite funny to almost dislike a bad cover. Like, what the hell have they done?
Why have they killed? Who's let them near this fucking record?
Who gave them permission to do this?
Yeah.
But it's got the date of 2017 on here, but I think it's just a compilation of all the covers they've done through the years. But they've got an album called Undercover that has the umlauts over the O.
Sure, yeah.
And within this, there's a couple of covers I think are absolutely bob on. Honourable mention goes to their cover of Breaking the Law and God Save the Queen.
I've listened. Breaking the Law was on my playlist.
Their version of Breaking the Law is quality, but if there's two that I think, didn't know Motorhead would go for that, and you want something a bit softer, a little bit different, they do a cracking cover of Heroes.
Yeah.
You know, like We Can Be Heroes Just for One Day.
Motorhead's cover of Heroes.
So, and I was tossing and turning between that and they do a cracking version of Sympathy for the Devil.
I don't think I've heard their Sympathy of the Devil cover.
Really, really good. Again, it's not as pacey. Like, so we've just recommended Bomber and Overkill. You know, just it's just like, what is it, like a 6-tuple bass pedal on that drum? Like, how many bass pedals underneath? Yeah. But yeah, if you want something a little bit different, if you want to go punky, with Motorhead's twist, Breaking the Law and God Save the Queen, but if you want something a little bit slower and a little bit different, I couldn't recommend anyone who just generically likes rock music, their cover of Heroes and Sympathy for the Devil.
Sure.
If I was to push my actual favourite, I might cop out like you. I think I might go Bomber, because it seems too obvious to say Ace of Spades, doesn't it?
I know, it does, but again, Ace of Spades it's... We were saying, like, in popular culture and movies and stuff like that, when we mention other songs, it's always going to be up there. And Ace of Spades was so good. It's an amazing track.
I think I might not be picking Ace of Spades, because if you remember, we had a drinking rule for a while. Whenever we drew the Ace of Spades in a drinking game, you had to down your drink.
Yep, yeah.
And I think that's giving me PTSD. So, because I remember one of our mates, Jojo, you drew that Ace of Spades, and he started attempting to sing it in a lower register than he's capable of.
Yeah.
So I think I've got PTSD from, like, because I can't down a drink to please save my life. I try my best, God willing. So I think that's not making my list because it's done irrefutable damage to my liver and or toilet.
I mean, a song doing damage to your liver. I think Lemmy would be right behind that.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe maybe it should be a nod to him. Maybe that's where I should push it. But
yeah, in respect to Lemmy, you should down a drink whenever you hear Ace of Spades. That's the.
Well, yeah, maybe we can push. Maybe I can spread the love/pain that I felt. You hear it, you down your drink. New rule. Okay, we're going to Stag next week. New rule. We hear Ace of Spades with Stag rule.
I'm going to get someone to play it, and I'm going to have like half a drink left.
Yeah, you're going to have a shot in your hand, and I'll be there with a full pint.
That's a good way to do it. Yeah.
So, other quality songs. I think we've avoided it for this first style. I think they couldn't be more known for his entrance wrestling themes.
Their takes on the WWE songs, man, are just, yeah.
So for those that don't know, Triple H uses multiple Motorhead songs as, well, I say Triple H and the stable known as Evolution, the tag team.
But again, I think I brought that up earlier. I was like, well, only two, but yeah, Triple H was
part of Evolution. So again, you know, being a wrestling fan back in the day, or particularly the wrestling games, I love the wrestling games, and the music was a part of that, and my taste in rock music and wrestling Venn diagram quite nicely and overlap.
Same, yeah. Never really much of the games, but actually watching.
I watch a bit, but the games are great. The games are quality.
Yeah.
Well, they used to be, and now they're buggy, horrible mess over the past 5-10 years. It used to be quality mid-2000s, like SmackDown versus Raw or SmackDown Bring the Pain in the early 2000s. Quality games. But anyway, so he's had The Game,
Yep.
King of Kings, and Line in the Sand.
Sure. All three are just phenomenal.
Right, here and now, me and you are going to rank them and agree.
Oh, we're going to rank them and agree.
We're going to argue against each other.
Fill my drink up.
Right, so let's start with number 3. Let's maybe go bronze. So of the 3, The Game, King of Kings, Line in the Sand. I feel like we're going to disagree from the off. What do you reckon takes bronze?
Of those 3, in third I'd put Line in the Sand.
You're wrong. I'll let you defend your point of view.
I can remember the other 2 being used in WWE. I wasn't watching WWE in the time of Evolution.
Okay.
Because it was Ric Flair, wasn't it? It was Ric Flair, Randy Orton, Triple H,
because they were
Batista.
They were fighting New World Order.
Yeah, and then obviously you've had. I know. I've gone back and watched it all, like the fallout of Randy Orton leaving and being kicked out.
And then he used Mercy Drive, Burning My Light.
Exactly. Yeah. From that.
Quality tune, by the way.
So I can appreciate it. When I hear it, I'll belt every word out because it's got that nostalgia place to it. But I wasn't watching WWE when that was a thing. Evolution, as far as when I started it, was before my time that I then got into.
Okay.
So that's why I'd rate the other 2 higher than that.
Right, so I'll finish your total ranking and then tell you why you're wrong. But you finish ranking, so you go 2-1.
So then I'd go The Game.
The Game.
Again, though, it's difficult between those 2 because The Game, it's such a... You hear that first chord and that first kick, and it's so good. You can see just the lights go down, the lasers and the smoke, and H standing behind it.
When he spits the water.
And spitting the water out, and it's just brutal.
I don't think I ever managed to intimidate that. Anyone managed to get that?
I know, the actual
dribbles down your chin.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So that was so good. Again, I've got such a passion for that song. It was really good. I remember learning it on guitar and showing it my brother. My brother got it straight away. And he was just like, that's Triple H's music. I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah.
So you're putting King of Kings?
I'm putting King of Kings at number 1. And again, I prefer the King of Kings track to The Game, I think. I think it's a better song for them. Again, the lyrics to it fit WWE. Again, the lyrics to all of them fit, but the lyrics to King of Kings is just brilliant. And I remember the throne coming up where he sat on the throne and King of Kings is playing. And it's just such a great track, and it suits his style so well. And Triple H is on the throne wearing his crown. He's got his big
skull
hammer
motif.
and skull, and it just works so well. And I've got the sort of image plays in my head like a video, like as if I'm watching it. It's very, very vivid in my head. So yeah, King of Kings, then Game, then Line in the Sand.
That's 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, interesting. I think it's the power of music. I think you need to take your nostalgia tinted glasses off. I think that's something.
Okay, yeah.
I think you're looking at them a bit rosy coloured through this.
Sure.
And it's the power of nostalgia, and it's the power of to connect different memories and different senses. I'll definitely give it you. But Line in the Sand is the better song.
Incorrect.
No, I'm not saying it's number 1, but it's not number 3. Right, I think it goes number 2. For me, shoot me if you will, your number 1 is my number 3.
Right.
King of Kings is bottom of the list.
Oh, see.
Right? Now, I love King of Kings. If we're comparing it to, let's go in the WWE universe, used a lot less...
Oh,
a lot more infrequent.
Yeah.
I couldn't get that word out then. A lot more infrequent. It definitely tells a cracking story. The storytelling in that song and talking about a king and decapitating people and dealing with his enemies and blood and gore and nasty, horrible, look, we're men. That element of it is quality.
Sure.
In terms of an actual song, though, the musicality of it and the power in the guitar and his voice, I think he's talking a lot more than he's kind of his more singing style. So I'd put King of Kings at the bottom. I agree the motif and how well it fit. Triple H was, but he was the king for a while. But they kind of used that for promos a little bit rather than
it was a thing that was around for a bit
before he'd do an interview or before he'd be backstage twatting someone up with a sledgehammer, as you said.
Yeah.
So I'd go King of Kings. Then I'd probably go Line in the Sand. Truthfully, I think Line in the Sand is the better song.
Sure.
I think I'd sing along to it. I think the lyrics are clearer, crisper. I think it's a better song to sing along to, and I love a sing song. I love singing along to a tune.
Yeah,
so if I can sing along to it easier, whereas The Game, a lot less lyrics. So since there is less lyrics, I think I don't like it as much. I still don't think I can put Line in the Sand
above the game.
It depends. Are we talking about the best Triple H songs or the best actual songs? I think Line in the Sand is the best song, and again, it's taking that nostalgia filter off.
Yeah,
but you can't not say it's time to play the game. You know,
exactly.
And that guitar, time to play the game, and it just goes. And then the laugh track. Like, so if we're talking, I think your ranking personally is the best WE songs and the best Triple H songs.
Yeah.
I think if I would say what I think the best song is, which is almost like a separate list because you look at it from a different way. You know, because the wrestling is the storytelling element, so surely the King of Kings needs to go higher, whereas I've put it at the bottom of the list because I don't think it's the best song. So if I was to go best songs, I'd probably go Line in the Sand, The Game, King of Kings.
Sure,
but
I can get that. I can understand that.
You know, I don't know. It's because I love singing along, and you can't sing along to the game as well. It's like the guitar and the high notes that it holds and. But it's just him going, time to play the game. That's all it really says. Whereas Line in the Sand, I can definitely sing along to.
Yeah.
But my God, we're splitting hairs here, aren't we? Christ alive.
But all three are just fucking phenomenal.
And I'm sure many people like associate Motorhead and Lemmy with.
Well, they'll all have that link to that sort of time, and definitely a big piece to it.
A bit of history to them. They've played so many, they've been so loud, but. A few bands before he joined Motorhead, of course, weren't there?
So he started sort of music and that sort of musical path with a band called The Vickers, I think the Rocking Vickers, I think they were. But yeah, they did a few shows around sort of Northern England, and that was where that was their sort of stomping ground. I've got here that they played a gig, they were on the same bill as The Who and The Kinks. So that places them sort of in time. And the audience was shouting for the Vickers.
Not the Kinks or the...
Not the Kinks or the Who.
Right.
And it's a bit of hometown pride. That gig was South Pier.
Yeah, buddy.
Blackpool.
Repping.
I was saying that to the missus the other day. Imagine a big band now coming and playing South Pier in Blackpool. It's just a bit...
Have the pier rocking and bouncing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, then I think we'd want it reinforced, maybe checking for structural integrity first.
Yeah, definitely. But South Pier, Vickers, the Kinks and the Who. So he was with the Vickers, and then he wanted to be more sort of central or go a bit further with the music, whereas the Vickers were very much, we do this gig in this place per year, then the next year comes, we do the same thing.
And that's enough.
And they had their routine and different venues that they'd play, sort of mainly around the north of England. So he moved up with that. Then he joined, or was then in Hawkwind, which was very much I've not heard that much Hawkwind stuff, but they're very progressive rock.
Yeah, a bit more of an electronic sound, a little bit more different, yeah.
So not like what you'd think of Lemmy with Motorhead now, but again, the odd stuff that I've heard by them, he does really stand out. You can hear his voice come out through the Hawkwind stuff, and it's that. But yeah, maybe I need to listen to a bit more.
Yeah, almost like kind of, I suppose we could call it kind of space rock.
Yeah, I think that they identify themselves as sort of space rock, but yeah, that kind of
more psychedelic prog.
Exactly, psychedelic, that futuristic sound.
Not quite going as hard rock.
Yeah,
no,
not quite down that venue. But I've got here he was let go out of Hawkwind. He was kicked out. They were playing different shows, so travelling through the different states and continents and stuff like that, and he was stopped. Lemmy was stopped at the Canadian border, and he was arrested for possession of speed, and he was put in jail for 2 nights. The band Hawkwind had to bail him out to get him to the next gig on time, and at that point they kind of pulled him inside, said like, we sort of can't be doing this. Like every time they'd be getting up early to go and catch a flight or something like that, Lemmy would still be in bed, or he'd still be sort of not recovering, because he didn't need much recovering, but he'd still be sort of on the speed or on the alcohol or on the sort of cannabis or doing whatever
on the afters.
Exactly.
Loved an afters.
Yeah, but him sort of having to be bailed out of prison by the band to get him to his next gig, they kind of just went, do you know what, yeah, we're going to have to call it here. And that was it. He wasn't in Hawkwind anymore. He put, in an interview I've seen him talking about, he was saying he was kicked out of Hawkwind, and as a sort of revenge thing, he went back home and slept with 3 of the wives of the other members of the band.
He didn't.
3 of the wives. And then to correct himself, and he went, technically I was already sleeping with 1 before the time. I was like, Jesus Christ.
It's only 2 were for extra revenge.
Yeah.
Extra spice. Christ.
But yeah, he says like revenge is sweet, isn't it? But yeah, as a sort of kickback. I mean, that's a different time, isn't it? But that's a hell of a statement. But yeah, he was talking to his one of his son in an interview was like, "Oh, my mum used to know the Beatles as well," and Lemmy went, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure your mum lost her virginity to John Lennon." Which again is like, it sort of puts him at that time and that kind of era. And I found it funny, the kid's mother lost her virginity to John Lennon. The son's name is Paul.
That's a story and a half. You found that
There's
DB?
definitely something there, isn't there? There's definitely
in the depths of the internet, yeah, Christ,
yeah,
man.
I thought that was really good. Yeah. But no, very well known for his Jack and Coke and his drug taking. He didn't try and hide, I think, the amount of drugs he did. And then later in life, he was diagnosed with diabetes. And he didn't stop, he just slowed down. He just took less. But he was just like, I've lived my life up to this point. I'm not changing.
I think I read something along the lines of the amount of Jack and whatever he drank. And he's like, he switched to wine. And vodka, apparently. Or something like his stopping, his healthy choices, his alternative lifestyles include going from like 40% to 15%. He just
again on that note, I've read saw something. He was sat and there was he was with another band in a dressing room or something, and he went to the guy, "Oh, can I get you a drink?" And he was like, "Yeah, Jack Daniels." He's like, "Yeah, sure, yeah." So Lemmy opened his bottle of Jack Daniels and passed it over, and the guy took a swig. And just as he was passing the bottle to his next mate, for his other band member to take a swig, Lemmy had already opened a second bottle to pass it to him, and then they were all just sat there
bottles of Jack.
Bottle of Jack, passing around like beers, just like, "Do you want a beer?" It's not, no, "Do you want a Jack?" And they're just passing bottles of Jack around.
40%, 750 ml.
A bottle each, a fucking bottle each. That's just, he used to put it away, man. Like, absolutely mad. But yeah, like I say, he never tried to sort of hide the fact that he did drugs.
Unapologetic.
Yeah, and again, I read in an interview, he was asked about the drugs and his drug use and drug taking. And he did say in the interview, "I don't want to talk about the drugs and drug use. I don't want kids getting into drugs and taking drugs because of me." He was like, "I'm not advertising a life that killed some of my friends." He says, "But for me, it's too late to change." Which I think
is powerful.
Yeah, again, it's a great statement, but yeah, like you say, a powerful message.
I think maybe earlier, and we could maybe drop this around, but
sure.
Recommended songs. I forgot White Line Fever. I don't know how that didn't come into me.
Yeah.
But for me, one that my inner, 12-year-old will always laugh at, did laugh at, will continue to laugh at, Orgasmatron. I'm not going to sell the song that well, because if you're not intrigued by the title Orgasmatron,
it's not for you.
It's not, and you're not listening to the right podcast.
It's not for you, Jen. It's not for you.
It's not for you. Like, I will give you the opening line. I am the one. Orgasmatron. Go and find it, ladies and gents. Give that a listen.
That's your extra reading homework.
Yeah,
find Orgasmatron.
That's your geography homework this week. I want the etymology of the word Orgasmatron. Like you're a wordsmith. You're coming up with that, aren't you? You've got power over lexicons if you're like using that word. Christ alive.
But yeah, he had some great friends as well. Like, going back to Triple H, like Triple H used to be a massive fan of Motorhead. So again, him managing to get Motorhead as his walk-in entrance for WWE was great. But again, I was watching it was his funeral, and Triple H got up to say his piece at the funeral, and he was saying one of the times he was at some metal awards somewhere, and he'd never been to anything like that before, and he didn't know what to expect. And as he was going in, there was all these metal heads and these people in massive metal bands. He didn't name any of them in case they were going to be embarrassed, but they were all stood in suits, drinking wine and talking to each other in this like venue type of thing.
Calm, civil.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't, like I say, he didn't know what to expect. And he was like, "Oh, okay." And he was like, "Is Lemmy here?" He's like, "Oh yeah, he's down in the room down the hall." So he went to the room down the hall, and Triple H was with his wife, Steph McMahon, and they knocked on the door, and he was like, "Oh, it's Triple H." And he was like, "Oh, come in." And he opened the door, and there was 3 women all stood naked. There was Lemmy in a towel, one around his waist, one around his head. There was Motorhead blasting out the CD player, and a table towered with drugs. Lemmy saw him come into the room, and then saw he was with his wife, sort of looked behind him and went, "Jesus, get out!" And someone pushed him back, shut the door, like you could hear fumbling around in the room. Like literally 2 minutes goes by, they open the door again, the women are all dressed, Lemmy's got pants on, and the table of drugs is now gone. Presumably Lemmy did them all. But he just said it was what he wanted. It was almost what he expected to see going in there. But it was the fact that Lemmy saw that he was with his wife, and as a token of respect for not meeting him before or for her being there. And yeah, he
like, this is the guy that's done my music, love.
Exactly. Yeah. He got everyone sorted. But yeah, and Lemmy used to come and sit in and watch Triple H's matches. He used to come watch Triple H's match and then disappear for the rest of the event, like sit in his limo. And one time, because Triple H was the bad guy at that time as well.
Yeah.
Triple H was the villain.
He was the heel.
Piece.
Yeah.
And one of the times he was walking off after he's lost his match, and he leans into Lemmy to say, "Oh, thanks for coming, thanks for watching." And he goes, "Fucking hell, you couldn't win a match if you were trying. You suck." And he was like,
I bet that was a dagger to the heart.
Exactly. He said, "Oh, it's a fitting piece. You've got Motorhead as the music, I suppose." But yeah, it was quite a statement. But again, another thing I watched from this funeral, and again, it's pulls at your heartstrings. It's Dave Grohl on about his meeting, because again, Dave Grohl was a big fan of Lemmy and a big friend of his as well. And he was saying the first time he ever saw him, he was in a strip club, and Lemmy was sat on his own in the corner, and Dave Grohl was heading to the loo, and he went to the toilet and came back. And I was like, "John, I can't say something to him. I can't even listen to his music for this long. I can't not say anything." And he leans over and goes, "I'm really sorry to bother you. I don't want to take up any of your time, but I'm a massive fan of you musically. You're one of my inspirations in playing. I played in the Foo Fighters and I was played in Nirvana as well." And Lemmy turns around and makes eye contact with him. The first thing he ever said to him was, "I'm really sorry about your friend."
Christ, wow.
And now he said it to Dave Grohl. There was every opportunity or every chance that Lemmy was just going to turn around and go, "Fuck off."
Yeah,
in Dave Grohl's head.
Or just something nice,
or
just something...
sort of that rock star and that sort of gunslinger badass image that he had to him.
But he thought about his response.
First thing he ever said to him was, I'm sorry about your friend. And it almost floored Dave Grohl.
Yeah, I bet that put you on the back foot.
Exactly, it was like... he's now this person. He's not just this rock and roll hard nut. He's got a heart, with still being a rock and roll fucking badass. But again, Dave Grohl and Lemmy both shared they both attributed their music chops to the old school rock and rollers. So your Chuck Berry, your Little Richard, your sort of Bill Haley and the Comets and Elvis and them kind of standards. And Dave Grohl's got a story that he met Little Richard. And I've seen him tell Lemmy that he met Little Richard once at this limo type thing. And Little Richard put the window down after realising he was a musician. He was like, "Oh, God bless you, nice to meet you." And gave him a little signed thing, little pamphlet or something like that. And I saw him tell the story, and then he's telling the story again at the funeral, and he was saying, like, we're both fans of Little Richard. And then he goes into his pocket and he pulls out the pamphlet, and he says,
Still had it.
I wanted to give him this at his birthday. And he really gets a frog in his throat, and it's such a moment. It proper pulls on the heartstrings, because it was a really good friend. And like he wanted to give him this little signed thing from that time, and that thing that meant so much to him, to give it to him. And it was like, so then he sort of lays it on the coffin.
Bloody softy, isn't he?
I know,
big softy. What a lovely guy.
But yeah, again, he tells the story. Is Lemmy comes into the room where Dave Grohl is, and Dave Grohl's introducing him to the missus. And he comes into the room and he's got his fag in one hand and his Jack Daniels in the other. And he's like, "Oh, how are you doing?" kind of thing. And Lemmy sees across the room there's Dave Grohl's baby's there that's 6-month-old. And he instantly takes a step back and puts his cigarette out in his Jack Daniels and Coke and just puts it on the side before entering the room.
Oh.
And that kind of, I don't know, you see these images of him, and he is the baddest motherfucker in rock music. He was Lemmy. There's no other sort of words that can describe what he did for the industry and his kind of music, and he was a fucking hard nut. But he still had that element to him where he did have the respect and care for his friends. And
he had power in the music, speed in the music. They charged him, like, for him to be singing and playing the bass.
Yeah,
of course,
man.
you know.
Yeah.
And like, there's no point talking about any other band members because he is the band.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And there are so many bands sometimes that they are made and broke by their front people.
Yeah.
He is their band.
He is
know?
Motorhead.
And they've had a revolving door. And the sheer number of songs they put out, I highly recommend people. I want to delve into their back catalogue a bit more.
I definitely need to listen to more of their back catalogue, I think. Yeah. So I think Spotify's got a complete playlist. I think it's got everything on it. So.
Like, the best ofs, I think, always a good place to start with any.
Yeah.
Just find a best of, find a compilation. Give it a listen, see what you like, and let us know what you like. And if you agree with DB's ranking of
the correct ranking
of
the WWE
well,
tracks.
I think we can judge his two rankings. What are the best Triple H ones, but what are the actual best songs? Because I think we all know I've got that ranking correct. But I'd like to know what people's opinion. Like, due to the depth of the back catalogue, is there anything we've missed? Anything we've not recommended? Is there something you want to push on us? Like, right, if you're talking Motorhead, you got to give this a try. Did he do any side projects? Did he collab with anyone?
Sure, yeah.
We could not do enough research We've
Oh,
got,
yeah,
'cause we've got stories for days. Normally, it's my thing to look at albums and chart position because they've not charted massively well, albums or
No.
tracks. But they've got a loyal, militant fan base that are just throughout the years, and just give them a listen. Let us know if anything we've missed. As we said recently, we're on all sorts of social media. We're probably more prevalent on Facebook. We are trying with Instagram.
I am trying with Instagram. Every time I post something on it, though, it closes before it does anything. I'm just done with it.
We're just getting too old to tech. But
maybe I am, mate. Maybe I am.
Just try us on other socials. Let us know. Let us know if you like. We are very humbled by the sheer number of people listening. Even though it's very few, any of our friends, family. We've got people from abroad. I just wanted to take a moment just to say thanks and
definitely, yeah.
Maybe have a soft. Although you may soften my heart a bit. All those Lemmy stories, it's been like we would have these conversations anyway, so we're just recording them.
It's nice we've said that before. It's mad. People are actually tuning in and listening to our voices for like 20, 30 minutes ago.
Or if they listened to the Clash one 40 minutes. Sorry, the Clash one got away from us a bit.
Yeah, it did.
I'm still not happy with the top 5 songs I picked or top 7. I could probably do it with Motorhead. The quality as they are, but oh my god, I think we leave on that bombshell.
Definitely.
Be hard nuts, but be soft nuts. Find the middle ground.
Yeah, man. Go away, listen to some Lemmy, come back and tell us what you think. But yeah. Gems of Rock on Facebook, gemsofrock@gmail. Again, as DJ say, a massive thank you to the people sending us messages. We really appreciate it. It means so much. But yeah, and also, like I say, I'm going to pop the links for the Waterloo event that's going on.
Yeah, check out the Waterloo.
If you can donate. If you can't donate, share the page. Someone else might be able to on your Facebook feed. We'll just spread the word for it. But yeah, it should be a good little event that they're putting together.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you so much. We'll speak to you soon. Cheers.